Hello everyone, welcome back to Road Reg. On today's video, we are going to be discussing things that I have done to the 330d since I picked it up and things that I need to do in the future in terms of repairs, not modifications, fixing niggles and making this car run as smoothly as it should. Now in the last video, I obviously introduced this car to the channel, which was fun, and I forgot to mention that it's black sapphire. So there we go, it's black sapphire. I think it looks fantastic. Yes, I know it's a pain in the neck to keep clean, but hey, I had a white car, right? And that wasn't metallic, that was flat white, B&W Alpine white, and that really was a pain in the neck to keep clean. You know, I managed to keep it clean for the majority of my ownership, except when it was dirty, of course. I wash that car a lot, and if I can look after a white car, then I'm pretty sure I'll be able to look after a black car. Basically, we're going to be just chatting about any repairs that I've had to do to this car since I've owned it, and any repairs that I need to do to this car going forward, because there's going to be some. She's got 97,000 miles on the clock. It's a 2010. It's an old car. There's going to be a few little niggles. It's going to need some money spending on it. So the whole point of me buying this car was, one, to have something a little bit different to the M140i, and two, to have something that was fun, sporty, practical, but also a car that I didn't need to worry about too much in terms of stone chips and knocks and bangs on the paintwork. Basically, a car that I could go to Sainsbury's or Tesco's or whatever supermarket that you like to shop at, park it up and not think too much about it. It turns out, since I've had this car, I haven't really changed that mindset. When I go to a supermarket, I still sort of park it like I do with the M140i. Maybe not as extreme. I still have that looking after the car mentality, but I'm not going into the store constantly thinking about, gosh, what if someone bangs my door? I think my mindset has definitely changed, not having to worry about it so much. There are going to have to be some things that I need to think about going forward in terms of reliability with this engine, and we'll get onto that in a minute. So we're actually going to pull over because there's quite a few things we need to talk about in terms of things that I've done to it, things I want to do to it, servicing, and just making this car the best it can be in terms of being mechanically sound. So look, we're going under the Goodwood Tunnel. I'm going to put the window down. Let's see what it sounds like. Yep, that's a 3-litre diesel. Slightly underwhelming compared to the 140. But you know, as diesels go, that sounds pretty good in my opinion. It's never going to sound as good as a petrol, but it's not a petrol and it never will be. So let's find a little parking space and we're going to chat about this car. Right. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. I bought this car from a dealership and the dealership told me that it had been serviced, and I could see on the iDrive that they had reset the service indicator. So it was saying next service due in 17,000 miles, which is ridiculous, and please don't leave it that long if you own any car. Part of the timing chain issues that these engines have, more so the N47, but the N57s do suffer with it as well. I truly believe, and I think most mechanically minded people will agree, you shouldn't be servicing your car any longer than 10,000 miles or a year. You should be changing the oil every year or 10,000 miles at the very, very maximum. I used to change the oil on my M140i between 4,000 and 6,000 miles, and that car was running like a dream when I sold it, and I presume it's still running like a dream because I haven't heard from Isaac since I sold it, other than the fact that he's done some modifications to it, which is great. Good on you, buddy. So yeah, even though the dealership said they serviced it, I took it straight to my mechanic the next morning and we got it on the ramp, we changed the oil. And in doing so, we did notice a few things that are going to need some attention going forward. So firstly, we dropped the oil, great, and it was black. It's a diesel. There's going to be a little bit of sludge in the bottom of the sump and it's going to basically always be like that. When you put fresh oil in, you run the car for a couple of minutes and it's just going to turn black. That is just the reality of having a dirty diesel. I guess that's where they get the name from. What was most alarming about that oil change, what we discovered was someone has stripped the thread in the oil sump, which isn't ideal. Not what you want to see or hear when your mechanic's doing an oil change on the car that you just spent a little bit of money on. That's quite disappointing. I'd imagine that's because it's probably been over tightened. They're very fragile, the threads in sumps. Because this car is 15 years old and however many oil changes it's had, obviously someone has stripped it and they use silicone to stop the oil from coming out. But what we did instead was use a special washer. I think it's called a dowsing or doughty washer, something like that. If you know what that washer is in the comments, please let me know. But amazingly, that did the trick. Pop the washer in, tightened it up a little bit, and it's absolutely sound. So I think going forward, I'm definitely going to have to get the sump re-threaded. But for now, that washer's doing a good job, and I will just do that again on the next oil change. Because look, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or in my case, it's broke, don't fix it. Wait, does that make sense? Moving on to the next thing, obviously the dealer said they serviced it, and I thought, you know what, the air filter, that'll be fine, but as I'm here, I'll check it anyway. Just out of curiosity, I'll see what's in there. I take the air filter out, and the air filter hasn't been changed in a very long time. I was quite shocked at how dirty it was. It was horrendous. What do? I go straight to Eurocar Parts and I put a brand new air filter in. I put it in myself and just get it done. That's fine. It wasn't that expensive. It was probably about £25 or something. So the car has now got a K&N air filter in it because that's just a reg thing. I like to put K&N panel filters in all of the cars I own. Always have done. It's a bit of a me thing. I know it doesn't make any difference to the power, but I've never had a bad experience with them, and you can wash them and re-oil them. Obviously, don't go too crazy on the oil because that can mess the mass airflow sensor up, but so long as you don't over-oil it, you're going to have no issues, and I've never had an issue with a K&N air filter, so it has that in there. Okay, so the next thing is the passenger door handle. That was worn out and really sticky. Apparently it's a B&W thing. When they get old, they get very sticky, and it's not pleasant when you're picking up passengers and they go and shut the door and they get this sticky rubber over their hands. So I ordered one from Autodoc, got that changed straight away. The wood dash trim, in fact, I will grab my phone and get some footage of that to show you. I'll just move my water. Yes, this car has the old man spec wood trim. So yeah, that's going to go, and I'm going to replace it with some carbon trim. It's not real carbon, it's like hydro dipped or something. And also, it's a little bit scratched up. So I have done a bit of touching up on these seats. This here was heavily worn here, and it's still not perfect. And it was actually yellowing down there. I don't know if you can see that, but since then, I bought some leather touch-up, got sponge, and basically I cleaned the seats, and then I sort of painted them in certain areas where it needed it. It ain't perfect. I did the centre console as well, which actually came out pretty good. But I think the paint that they sent me is a little bit lighter than these seats, but I think that's just because they're a bit old and they've probably gone a bit yellow. Generally speaking, the seats are in good condition. They're not perfect, but I'm not going to go crazy with them because this is an old car. And like I said, I don't want to worry too much about this car. I just want to get in it, drive it, enjoy it, and just use it for as long as I can. Now, other things I've had to sort on this car is the gearbox. So when I picked this car up, the gearbox was a little bit sluggish. You know, you could tell that it had done 96,000 miles, and I couldn't see anything in the service history that had been done prior to my ownership. It was a bit jerky when downshifting on light throttle, and yeah, it was crying out for a gearbox service. So I've had that done, and it has made a huge difference. The gearbox feels absolutely fantastic now. It's still got that sort of first gear slip pulling away, but I'm pretty sure they engineer that in for smoothness. This isn't a ZF 8-speed. I've been spoiled with having that gearbox. So now that I've had the automatic gearbox serviced, it definitely is driving much better. But when I was having that done, the garage scanned for codes on this car, and there is some stuff that I need to fix going forward. So there's currently 2 fault codes on this car that definitely need to be sorted. And one of those is glow plug control unit and exhaust back pressure sensor. So the glow plug error code should be fixed with 6 new glow plugs and the control unit. Now the garage did warn me that the glow plugs can be a little bit tricky getting out, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that when they do it, they get them out okay. I've ordered the glow plugs and the control unit, they're ready to go. And the second thing is a little bit more costly, and that is the exhaust back pressure sensor. Now they tell me, the garage I went to, that could be related to carbon buildup in the intake manifold and in the intake ports. Now, frustratingly, that's a relatively affordable job, but they're telling me that I need to buy a new intake manifold because it's a pain in the neck to clean all of the carbon buildup out of that intake. It's so intricate. They just said to me, just get a new one. And to be honest with you, I probably am, because if I do that, it will be super clean, brand new gaskets, and then they do the walnut blasting on the intake valves. And that should keep you going for another 100,000 miles. So those 2 fault codes are the only issues I have with this car at the moment. There is another issue, but that could be easily fixed. It's not really mechanical, but that's the tyres that are on this car. Now, these are on, unfortunately, run flats. In particular, Michelin run flats, which is cool. So this has Michelin Pilot Sport 4 ZPs. They are incredibly expensive. This is a 255 section tyre at the back. And then on the front, Michelin Pilot Sport 3s. To get one Michelin PS4 ZP for this car is £189.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So I'm going to be running with these tyres until they run out, because it doesn't make sense financially for me to just chuck a new set of PS5s on, because why would I do that when I've got good tyres on here, other than the fact that they're run flats. So there we have it, guys. A bit of an update on the 330d. Got a couple of faults that need fixing, but other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing. I really love driving it, and I have to say, I don't regret getting a 3-litre diesel. I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit concerned that I might regret it, but you know what? I'd get another one, and I really mean that. But there we are, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Road Reg, and I will keep you posted with what's going on with the 330d in the next video. So I'll see you then. Take care.